Hello, everyone. My name is Andre Bailey. If you did not get a chance to meet me in Dallas, I'm the guy that was supposed to come in for your meeting, and long story short, Southwest Airlines completely stopped that from happening. But I told David Swanson, I'll take your notes from the meeting, the thoughts that a lot of the people had who were attending, and I'll make a quick video and answer for you questions you might have had on homelessness across the country, and maybe homelessness in Dallas, because I know that's what you guys are passionate about. So I'm going to be looking at my phone because David Swanson sent me a few questions and some notes, and I want to, again, just take a second to answer your questions. And my hope is that David Swanson injected into you not just the idea that homelessness is something that's important, but that homelessness in Dallas is something that if you bring the right leaders around it, that you can absolutely make a difference. So I'm going to take just a second and address some of your questions. So one of the thoughts that David Swanson wrote here was that he thought that many of you believe that Dallas was struggling some to move the needle on homelessness, but each organization thinks that they have the answer. So just so you know, what this is talking about is the fact that nonprofits, the most well-meaning, awesome, nonprofits who are serving food or doing shelter or focused on one part of the solution, what we've seen in Central Florida or around the country with cities that have made progress on homelessness is that by themselves, the nonprofits ultimately cannot make big progress on homelessness. They can help one person, but their ability to create a system of change is not really going to happen outside of faith leaders like yourselves or business leaders like some of you in the room helping create a bigger strategy, a bigger plan, and hold accountability. So your nonprofit leaders, what's interesting, what I've seen in communities across the country, although those are the people on the front lines making a difference today, they will be the people that probably fight the hardest at times against that bigger strategy that business leaders bring to the table for accountability. So keep in mind that your nonprofit leaders are amazing, but by themselves, they're not going to get the job done. They're not going to be able to help lead the path to where you're going. So another comment was, it seems like government and faith community are in, but business community is holding back and does not understand why it's good for them. I will tell you, one of the most important things we did in Central Florida is we showed business leaders why it was important for them to get involved on homelessness. Two reasons why. One, it was the compassionate thing to do. We showed them that most of the people that were homeless in a city like Dallas, who are long-term homeless, have disabilities, mental illness, veterans with post-traumatic stress disorder. We made the moral case that those people should get help, and you guys already understand that. But the other way that we drew business leaders in is by showing the financial impact of homelessness and how it makes more sense to solve homelessness than it does to let it continue in a community. One example is that in a study we did in Orlando, we found that it cost $37,000 a year to let someone be homeless, and it was only $12,000 a year to help them get a small apartment and some case management to get them off the streets when they had a disability. It's the financial case coupled with the compassion that will drive business leaders into the issue of homelessness. Plus, it's also making a place for them at the table where they can be involved. So that's a very, very valid question. There's also here, Mayor was homeless czar before he was mayor, so he's very knowledgeable. That's a great thing that your mayor understands homelessness, and I think your mayor must be an incredible asset and driver of a long-term homeless solution. Without your mayor, it's very tough because the public sector has to be leading the conversation on homelessness with business leaders and faith leaders supporting them. So that's very, very important, and your mayor can be a catalyst for change. We'll send you a video we've made from Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer on how he was involved in homelessness. We'll send that right now as well. Some of you said you feel like a group of you needs to work together before you announce a big meeting. Totally agree. Getting some stakeholders together in Dallas to have some big conversations about this, recruiting in the disciples who then get on the same page and have a vision for bringing the rest of the community in together. That's absolutely the right thing, and we can coach you on how to do that. A lot of people working very hard. You can't show up and expect to be welcome unless you talk to those leaders first. I would tell you, absolutely, we need to be cognizant and caring for people already doing the work. I would say, though, this is one that I might dispute you a little bit, that the thing about bringing outside group in, like Lead Homelessness or someone like David Swanson coming in as an advocate, is we're not involved in Dallas every day, so we're objective. And what we've seen in other communities that we're working in is if you can create some level of objectivity around a conversation and not have it become about this agency or this opinion or that opinion locally, that then you can rise above the chatter and the current conditions to have a bigger conversation about how many people are homeless and what needs to be done to get them off the streets. So I would say that if you're looking, let me address that question one different way. And let me just say this. If you're looking to gain consensus on a change movement, I would tell you I don't think that happens not just on homelessness but on anything. You need some passionate, dedicated folks who believe that they've got to set their chin and go due north on this issue, and they pull and compel others down what is the right path. City Council has a lot of power, and the mayor has limited authority, although he's very powerful. These are things that mean that we're going to have to draw others into this conversation. Talking a little bit about the faith community and how quickly they could probably be mobilized. I agree 100%. And then the idea that you having to focus on your downtown and getting your Dallas Housing Authority involved, and the question about data and the vouchers that you guys potentially didn't use on homelessness. I would say this: all of your questions have answers, and all of the folks on the street with their unique problems have solutions to get off the streets one by one using the Housing First model and using leaders who, like everything else in Dallas, economic development, tourism, transportation, the same leaders like yourselves who solve everything else, when they organize themselves, bring the community by sector around this discussion and drive with data and real solutions, drive this issue forward, you can see tremendous success. So I wanted to introduce myself. Forgive me that I wasn't able to be there with you in person, but I want to encourage you to see what happened in Orlando and other cities like Salt Lake City and Houston, where homelessness isn't completely solved, but it has been dramatically impacted in a way that you in Dallas can do the same exact thing, but it takes a few leaders to step out, come together, and make that happen. And the Lead Homeless initiative that I've started this year, we're here to help you do that. So I want to come down to Dallas. I'm going to come down like 7 days early this time. That way there's no way I don't make it to the meeting. But I want to come down. I want to convince you guys that homelessness is something you can move forward in Dallas. And my goal would be to see you guys put together a big meeting of business leaders and some faith leaders and some elected leaders to talk about how you can come together and make something happen on homelessness. So great to meet a few of you. I want to meet others of you that were in that meeting in person. And if you need me, my phone number, my email is at the bottom here. And I'd love to talk to you, answer any questions you have about homelessness. And I'm looking forward to seeing what can happen in Dallas when leaders come together and make a difference for those in need. I'll see you soon.